stages, but I want to see what everyone else keeps talking about for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's good fun to watch. I think his play definitely sometimes depends on who he's up against. He has played a little bit more straight up against harder opponents. Sometimes, just randomly. I don't really know how he decides when he's going to play his usual strange self or when he's going to straighten out a bit. But yeah, we'll soon find out. Because, I mean, he's up against a couple of pretty solid macro players in this group as well. Seether and Peppy been quite strong recently. Blysk is a guy who's been around forever, but he sort of pops in and out of the scene. And he's the other one that I would watch because he's sometimes going to throw a 2-base at you. The rest of the time he tends to really focus on 3-base builds and hitting and timing around that. But we're on New Repugnancy. Let's hop onto that Insano cam and get these introductions underway because in the bottom left, spawning in the blue trunks, this is Meomaika.
So nice to have an observer. In the top right, as the green Protoss, we do have Blysk.
Well spotted. Really happy to see this guy come back into our scene as well. It's been a minute. He's had some close calls trying to get into that top 8, top 16 range, but he's a busy man in real life, I think, and StarCraft's maybe not as much of a priority as it has been in the past, but he's definitely pulled a few upsets in previous tournaments, so I'm hoping to see him in top form here as well.
All right, very cool. Hey, it's a name that's very familiar, right? Like, I've heard the name, I've seen him play a couple of times, but he doesn't really, like, stand out in terms of making that a round of 8. A round of 4, something like that. Not even a round of 16, but it'd be cool to see him kind of rise above. What's really nice is that there is reasons to watch, like, all of the, if you will, like, all the challengers, right, all of the regions, because we do have strong StarCraft actually coming from a lot of different places. So, obviously, we're in the, well, I guess you guys are also kind of a, what's the word, like, you got people coming in from every which way, right? Just like the Americas has a lot of different people coming in. But, you know, sometimes, you know, there was a pylon show where it was kind of like, you know, like, oh, those Australian players, are they really that good? And we had to have a, you know, big argument about it. But it's actually super cool to see that everyone is seemingly, like, just getting better and better at StarCraft, right? So no region, I feel, is where you're just like, nah, like, let's not pay attention to that guy. And there's actually a lot of promising names. Like, I mentioned Meomaika being the funny guy. I want to watch him today, but then I also really want to watch Seether because every time I get to watch him, it's just like it's something goes wrong, it feels like. But apparently he, like, kicks ass.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think on a bigger stage, he's had a bit of trouble. But with repetition, I think he'll actually, you know, get to the point that Probe has, for example, because he's an absolute monster in this region. Meomaika just poking up here with those lings he made early on. Not much luck. I mean, Blysk scouted it pretty early, so you can chill for the moment.
Yeah, that Rochoran is pretty fast and pretty scouted. I don't think he meant to have a probe in there, but there's not much you can do until that Queen in the main is out. So I guess actually he could have chased it with the lings immediately, but they went across the map, so... Okay.
Yeah, I think if it were me, I probably would have gone straight for the probe. Just because, I mean, he was already scouted, right? Those lings weren't really going to do anything by the time he got there, but I'm not going to question him because he somehow makes it work most of the time. So we'll see what happens here as Blysk moves into those couple of initial adepts and is now churning out his first immortal.
Yeah, this seems like, I mean, for Blysk... so many reasons to go for that robo opener. One, it's kind of like the thing to do in this matchup nowadays. If he's copying, you know, the Koreans, probably going to go to 2-base push. But then if you're facing someone that is weird, robo openers are pretty nice. You know, if it's a Nidus Swarm, they do well against that. If it is just to start off with roaches or burrowed roaches, great against that. And the Immortal Warp Prism combination just gives you so much flexibility in both defense and offense. So I really like this choice. I feel like Blysk is already doing well in this game just because of how much he scouted and what he opened with, but we'll see what Meomaika has in store.
Yeah. This is an interesting match to watch for me too, because Blysk has been a player that historically, when someone throws a spanner in the works for his build, he seems to fall apart a little bit, which is unfortunate. But this is like the perfect setup for him because he's seeing everything that Meomaika has done so far, so he can adjust his plan accordingly and hopefully get to play out that sort of longer game that he tends to go for. He's just going to drop the Immortal here and just be a bit of a pest. Mio, of course, is well aware of this. He saw it load up back at the base with that Overlord. But you still have to keep an eye on it because it doesn't take long for an Immortal to do a fair bit of damage.
Yeah, we really would want to define the Ravager's morphing. He might, at some point, be like, hey, where'd those roaches go? And it looks like that is that point right now.
Yeah.
Alright, so he figures that something's going across the map. It is all Ravagers, which don't take any extra damage from the Immortal, but it's they're still dealing with a wall here, and I think it'll be alright. Another Immortal has already popped out.
5 more gates on the way as well. Bunch of extra unit production. He's going to need it too because 14 Lings are rallying behind this, plus a whole bunch already in the middle of the map. Blysk getting a head start at chewing down some of these Ravagers, and he does have to back up for a sec. But gotta be a little bit careful, keep that Warp Prism going. Oh, that's actually a really nice spot on those Ravagers. He gets through the wall though.
Ooh, yeah, that was a big mistake from Blysk, not to have anything actually guarding that wall. The Sentry, not only dying, but I'd use its hallucination for energy hallucination, so that should not have happened, basically, and because it has happened, Blysk suddenly is no longer in that fantastic position, actually losing almost 20 probes here. Oh, that hurts.
God. He's gonna lose a few more almost. Okay. Alright, well, that went pear-shaped. I thought he'd honestly do a little bit better at holding that, but those Lings getting in there have really ruined his day. The Zealots are sort of helping hold the fort at the front here with the Immortal, but they might be better off chasing the Lings in the main. They're about to have charge, but Blysk has lost a lot here.
Yeah, he was... he was still kind of getting saturated, so he's only at 40 probes, I guess, to begin with, but that's, 40 probes, especially if you take off of gas because he's going for a charged all-in, that is enough to continue warping in Zealots over and over again, but down to 16 probes, that's not so great in Meomaika. I mean, he did use a lot of Lings to do that, I suppose, and again, like Immortal and Warp Prisms can do a lot of damage, but he now is on 3 bases with production capabilities. It's the reverse situation. I feel like now Meomaika can't lose.
Yeah, this is a good spot for him. I mean, he's got... Mio's that guy that never really seems to have any more than 50 workers. Like, I feel like that's his absolute max. He's always got stuff on the map. He's always pumping out units. So Blysk now has no choice but to really see if he can do anything to his opponent here. But Meomaika is already sending another force across the map to poke at him as well. So he might be able to get a queen in the main. But not too much to be picked off here just yet because he's got such good coverage, so many units to spread around his bases.
Yeah. It's like these Immortals are going to try really hard, I guess, to take out whatever they can. Now, if they take out the queens and they're replaced, then, the War Prism doesn't have much to be afraid of. Well, of course, the Vows, I guess. But they're not even doing that. Like, the queens are being rebuilt, and we are getting more Ravagers here, so not only the possibility to tear down that War Prism, which would end the push right then and there, but also that nice range, the ability to break those force fields. Blysk's attack is just so weak now.
Well, he's got to try something. Does section off a couple of Ravagers, and that's a nice little start for him there. There's a Spire actually building at the 3rd base, which he hasn't scouted yet. He'll see it now as he sweeps in, so not sure if that Spire's going to get to finish if he goes for it straight away. But more and more Lings coming out from Meomaika. Goes straight for that Spire.
Yeah,
and in come all those Lings, though.
Yeah, it's going to be a not cancel, but he didn't need the Spire. All he needs to do is break this push, which he is going to do.
Oh yeah, oh my goodness. Overwhelming numbers there. The War Prism out of here. The Mortals don't have much buffer in front of them. Blysk milking everything that he can out of those Zealots, but in the end, I think he only gets to recall the one Immortal home. And Mio just has so much stuff left. GG! Meomaika, take the first game.
That's gotta be a... I think Heartbreaker is too strong of a word, because we were talking about the preliminary match, we still got Luge's match to go to. We still got 2 other games to go to, but he was in such a fantastic position, Blysk, and to just not have a wall to let all those Lings in, that's the only way that Meomaika was going to make something work, was getting a ton of Lings flooding in there, and all that takes is another Sentry warp in. Really too bad.
Yeah, it's a rough one. And unfortunately, like, I don't want to take anything away from Blysk here, but this seems to happen to him a lot, especially when he's not been around for a little bit. Things line up perfect for him, and then one tiny little thing goes wrong, and it all kind of goes to nothing for him real fast. And that's an unfortunate thing that seems to befall him a lot, but hopefully he can bring it back in game 2, because I'd really love to see a bit more of Blysk in the scene. He's such a veteran. When he's got his A game, he is actually quite a scary Protoss, but it's been a little while since we've been able to see him really execute a plan. So we'll see what the next map is, and that may give us a glimpse into the Blysk that our region has known and loved for a while.
Yeah, actually, looking over the maps, right, in the map order, I was like, oh, that's right, like, new maps.
Yeah.
I've got to play on them. Being sick this past week, I'm really excited to see what those actually have to show, and how many people are already preparing builds for them as well as we get ready. You know, all of these qualifiers coming in for summer.
Yeah, it's always a treat when you get the new map pool, and also new region too. Like, it's fun to dip into other ones sometimes. Like, I'm in the same position as you, but with like every other region that's not Korea. Because it's like there's so many games and it's impossible to catch up on them all because there's so many VODs. There's a qualifier every day, it feels like. So it's a bit fun when you get to mix it up and just sort of chill in a different region for a bit and see how they play. Because every region kind of has their own thing going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just it's funny that you say that. Like, I can't imagine a world where it's literally flipped on its head, where I'm watching nothing but like Australian and Korean time stuff, but yeah, with GSL sometimes having, like, right, there was that week where they had like a GSL every day, it felt like. Yeah. There's so much to catch up on. Oh,
it's not possible. I mean, even if you're full time, I feel like you're struggling to stay on top of all the StarCraft unless you elect not to sleep. Like, for me, I mean, I work a 9 to 5 that is not StarCraft, so my VOD catch-up time is limited to the evenings, and I honestly wish I could watch more. But I usually get my spoilers on, like, Team Liquid the next day. I'm like, dang it! Now I have to go back and watch it knowing the result.
Yeah, and as much as I would love to just be like, I think Roddy, like, talks about how, like, oh, he doesn't really care. He's just like, oh, that person won, all right then, I get to watch and know that. I do care. Like, I do want to live in that world where I'm like, this is always live. I don't ever know the results. Like, and I actually thought about this a lot once, right? Like, why are people like this? Why am I like this? And I boiled it down to, the reason is that, as stupid as it is, I feel like if it's live, I still have somewhat of a, like, I still actually impact the outcome, right? By, like, cheering really hard for someone. And I can't do that if it's already happened.
Well, yeah, it gives you a bit of magic too. I tend to fall into the, like, there's plays I really like watching, like Uthermal, for example, being my favorite for ages. If I watch a tournament and then I find that he got knocked out at some point, I'm like super sad and I kind of don't want to watch it, and it ruins it a little bit for me because I'm the same. I'm rooting for him.
Yeah.
But, you know, what can you do? What a first world problem to have. Too much StarCraft to watch.
Yeah, exactly. What a problem we thought we wouldn't have, I guess, 7 years ago. But it's definitely there. Okay, game number 2, Cyberforce. In the bottom right has the green Protoss. He is Blysk.
And his opponent, leading 1-0 in this match, which is a best of 3, we should have mentioned. This is Meomaika. So all the matches tonight will be best of 3s for the group stages. And obviously for each group after this as well.
Yep. The format I think a lot of StarCraft players are very familiar with.
Yeah. It's nice, honestly.
Yeah. Actually, I've heard other esports call it the GSL style group, which I think StarCraft's trying to get away from. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, that's funny. Yeah. It's good. I'm always a fan of more matches and more chances for these players, especially when, like, our region is kind of dominated by the, like, 2 to 4 players that kind of always qualify, and it gives people a little bit more of a chance to see some of the other guys go up against them, and because there are a lot of players that kind of almost get there every time, and it's such a shame that they just don't really get a good shot at the being streamed and stuff sometimes.
Yeah. Usually it was again, like, so much StarCraft is happening, and so many formats are helping or trying to help alleviate the whole, like, no, I qualified, but then I got to play, like, one game, and that was it.
Yeah.
That you are still having the same problem where, like, it's so much StarCraft, you're still missing out, even if there's, like, C, D, D, E streams.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's hard to find the right balance.
Yeah. This drone scout was, like, not that unorthodox, I suppose. I mean, I only say that because recently in WCS we did have a couple, like, proxy hatcheries, but obviously this wasn't for a proxy hatch. It was an attempted gas steal, but Blysk just went ahead and denied it. Well, this doesn't really count, but I guess this is a gas steal as well.
Yeah, he's probably just going to hang around for a bit and be a pest. There's an adept out, so he can't really leave. But he obviously has seen the Stargate, so he knows he needs to prepare for that. And he's just moving on to taking his third base. And likewise, Blysk has his own worker across the map, so both of them well aware of what's going on. And this is going to be a bit of peace of mind for Blysk as well, knowing what kind of player Meomaika is. You really do want to keep as much vision on him as possible, because you never know when a whole bunch of roaches are going to run across the map, or maybe it's some of a wing flood. Very much Meomaika style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you start an immediate roach horn class game, then Stargate's absolutely valid to keep tabs on your opponent. And transition smoothly into other openers, follow-ups, usually Archon drop, follow-up being one of the safer and, not just safer, but giving you the ability to actually apply pressure to your opponent as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Gonna start picking off an Overlord or two out here. Meomaika heading out on the map with his own lings at this point as well, just to poke at the front. He's not going to get anything done there, but he likes to be active with units most of the time, and just now starting to drop some of those spores just to help out against any air threats that might be popping out from that Stargate. But a huge bunch of gateways finishing up for Blysk.
Yeah, I said the Archon drop follow-up was pretty common, but then only going for the Twilight Council, adding on one extra gateway, and then boom. All the gateways and resonating glaives on the way too. So this is going to be potentially devastating, really, for Meomaika. He can't get in there to scout since the Overlord has died, and the Lings, well, shouldn't be able to get in with the Adepts guarding. And they can't even see the gases. So, you know, the hints here that are saying, like, something is up is maybe the lack of Warp Prism, or a lack of a probe going out to at least test, you know, the ability to get a third base. But is that enough for Meomaika to actually start preparing and getting roaches?
Yeah, we'll soon see. I mean, the roach warren is about to finish, and I think this should be a bit of a warning sign for him. He's seen nothing. He doesn't tend to drone very hard anyway, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him just pump out a few units here regardless. But he's actually going to come in with an Overseer and a Changeling just to find out what's going on. And he's going to be met by a huge swarm of Adepts, so hopefully that gives him just a tiny bit more warning that yes, he does need to absolutely be making units right now, because this is quite a difficult attack to defend against. Those Adepts are so slippery. So let's see if Blysk can get a bit more done this game.
Actually, I mean, the weird thing is, because he's such a low drone count, he doesn't have to protect a third, so he might not get, like, pulled apart as much from these adept attacks, like some other games where you split off 4-4-4, right? And actually, it's kind of happening. Like, the Adept shaded in, decided not to go for the natural. Now they're going to try and go for the main, but this is as Meomaika is getting a lot more roaches. They do reach the main. Not gonna bother shading through.
Yeah.
I feel like he can, though. Like, the roach numbers are still pretty low. His Adept count is so high.
Maybe just do a few and try to distract him. At the very least, he wants to get this third base. I think he's at that point where he's like, wait, what do I do here? Like, there's nothing to actually kill, so may as well get the hatch and then see where he goes from there. He's kept basically all these alive, so that's good. He can keep playing with them, and that knocks Meomaika back 2 bases. He does shade in here, not the best position. He kind of gets swallowed by a few roaches, but he's going to also shade into the main and see if he can get a bit more done there. Starting to target down some workers here in the natural, and there's the shade finishing up.
I mean, this will still do that drone damage. He got the third base as well, and he does this as his robos are finishing, so he should start immediately cranking on Immortals to stop any counter, but I'd said like
Yeah.
30 seconds ago, like, oh, maybe you should have shaded in. There wasn't that many roaches. Well, 30 seconds ago, there wasn't. But then he just shaded literally into all the roaches that have been producing. So not the best shade right there. But if he can get the immortal count up, the counter might be held. He would be ahead in workers and ahead in tech too with the immortals going into robotics bay as well.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, that didn't do too badly. Once obviously not ideal shades, but he did kill 14 workers. Meomaika is still pumping units here. The immortals are out. If you can just keep the roaches at bay, but that one immortal falls pretty quickly. No warp prism here to help his micro like the last game. Another immortal isn't too far off popping here, and he's doing his absolute best. Shield battery helping this immortal out too. Trying to hold the fort here, but Micro is slowly but surely trying to muscle his way through. But it looks like maybe it's just too much. These immortals really saving the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I do wonder if a warp prism, second or third, whatever, would have been better. But that Sim City just being forced through that one choke and no ability to break any of these strong structures ended up just being too brutal. And now Meomaika, still with the armor supply lead, still wants to do something here. Is going to try and use a Nidus Worm to circumvent that exact scenario. But we're talking about disruptors now, so all they need is one good hit and the back up the immortals, and that should be good enough.
Yeah. The other thing too is that Blysk has pretty good vision of his main, and because he's been cleaning up overlords, he even killed that one overseer. It should hopefully, for Blysk's sake, be a little bit tricky for him to actually pop Onidas anywhere unexpected, like in the main. But he is trying to take a third base at the moment, and that pulls him a little bit further across those bases. Neo finally opting to take his own third base again too. These roaches hoping to get a cancel. He should get it. Oh my god, cancel it, please. No.
What?
Wow, he is brave.
What? Okay.
Oh my god. What is happening?
Yeah, exactly. Like, not getting the kill, but also not canceling. I definitely would have canceled. Ends up working in favor of Blysk. His Nexus will finish. I mean, it'll be injured, but it'll finish. And he got so many roaches with those Novas.
Dude.
This worked out wonderfully.
Balls of steel. I 120% would have cancelled that. I'm so confused. But hey, Blysk has got to be pretty happy with that outcome, and his army's starting to look pretty good. 4 disruptors, 2 immortals, just swapping him in a little bit more cannon fodder for the front lines, and he's got that third base mining. Now, those roaches are still there, and they're going to swoop in a sec, so he could certainly lose some probes momentarily. But it looks like Blysk is sort of ready to do something here as his +1 finishes up.
5 disruptors, but unfortunately no observer, so...
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Yeah. Not having sight in the roaches when the upgrade hit, and maybe not even thinking about it, because he sees them now. Oh my god, the disruptor himself. Oh, Jesus. Okay, there's like nothing defending now. But the damage of the probes will be quite significant, and if Blysk is not paying attention to his disruption novas, then maybe he'll make a mistake.
I was like sweating here for Blysk, and he's just going for it. He's like, nah, you know what? I can't turn around right now. There's nothing on that third base. He's just going to go straight for the throat here. Heading up to that natural Spinecrawler falls pretty quickly. The Disruptor's moving in. There's not a lot of space for these roaches to micro back from. So can Blysk do enough damage here to seal the deal? Because those roaches have cleaned out the mineral lines in his main and natural.
Oh, GG. Okay. I mean... Wow. Not as many, disruptors or twice as many roaches on the defense. I don't know, maybe. He was kind of planning for a base trade with all the spine crawlers. Well, at least 2 of them coming up. But, yeah, 5 disruptors. That's always going to be tough to handle. Such a really low supply when you're going for pure roaches.
Yeah. But that was a fun one. We had some interesting moments in that game, but... yeah, Blysk evens it up, which I'm really happy to see. So we'll get to a third game between these guys. And pleased to see Blysk solidify his strategy there a little bit. Meomaika, again, with the aggressiveness, poking in, trying to do some roach attacks and stuff. I really like the burrowed roaches as well. I would be surprised to see that a second time. But yeah, a little bit more action-packed than the first one.
Yeah. Well, the first one really was just that one decisive, the Lings got in. Oh, well, that's not good. The second one, though, was still a little bit testy. Like I said, if he hadn't been paying attention to his disruptors, because he was trying to micro against the roach or something, then maybe. But that was a pretty strong maybe. Like there weren't a lot of Ravagers or any units back there, but it's a fun one. We didn't see the Nidus Worm used either. So, you said we might see Tumbling Claws again. I feel like we might see Nidus again. Didn't really get to use it, and it was a bit of a plan B or C or whatever, but it is super strong, even though it's not what it was like 3-4 months ago.
True, yeah, it's not quite full whack-a-mole at the moment, but it's still pretty decent. Yeah,
exactly, whack-a-mole. Especially with Meomaika being, that aggressive player. If he had gone for Nidus Worm like immediately after the Adepts, you gotta wonder what would have happened. Assuming if the Nidus Worm gets up, I suppose, but
yeah, true. I mean, I always feel like when a Protoss is still on 2 base, they've got a little bit of a better chance at spotting it, especially because Blysk had good vision, but you never know. I mean, you didn't really expect Lings to get through too easily in the first game, and it happens, so anything can go wrong.
Yeah, that's kind of the, I guess, marker there. It's like, no, this shouldn't happen. But that other thing happens, so...
Yeah, I mean, that next
possibilities are open. Yeah, exactly.
Alrighty, game number 3, folks. It's here on Kairos Junction. And in the top left, he's the green Protoss, bringing it back to the 1-1. It's Blysk.
In the bottom right, as the blue Zerg, he is Meomaika.
Indeed. And I guess we'll be keeping an eye on him to see what he does. He does like to dictate the pace of the game. He's certainly not a reactionary Zerg. But see what he has planned for his friend Blysk over here this time round.
Let's not forget that the last game started off with the Zerg a little underprepared. It's kind of weird to say that because there was that weird situation where like there just weren't drones to kill at the third.
Yeah.
But I still think it was just Meomaika being underprepared. We'll see if he gets like maybe faster or overseer to go across the map if he can, or he's a little more suspicious of something like that, so he doesn't have to lose the third. But yeah, that was Blysk being the aggressor, and then Meomaika making the best out of a bad situation.
Yeah, exactly. He's his playstyle kind of does that to people sometimes because he's just got no drones when he's supposed to have drones, or he has 1 million units when you expect him to have 5, and it can kind of throw people and force mistakes out of them just because they're like, wait, what? And they're sort of not sure how to proceed. But at least in that scenario, Blysk was like, all right, cool, 3 third base, and I'm just going to go back and make it immortals because you're clearly going to have to attack me now, and we'll go from there. But it really comes down to being able to hide some of that information from him as well, because Mir, like you pointed out, he couldn't see the gases, he couldn't really see anything in the natural when he poked up, he had no vision in the main, so hopefully this time around he can be a bit more prepared. He does have the Overlord sitting in that spot over the natural, so we can see anything that's coming out of there. Doesn't have one near the main just yet, but there's a second Overlords that are cruising up there that he can maybe place in a better position for that.
Yeah, maybe. As you pointed out, like he starts just like running back home.
Yeah,
not sure
that's cool. That's fine.
yeah. Just cast your things. Just like, yeah, this could help or not. All right, leave you. But without a Stargate, there's no like. There's actually nothing quite yet here. Yeah. Stop this Overlord from getting in and seeing. Well, I already saw the Robo, but anything else that could be happening.
Yeah, he's gonna tuck that away in a corner for a moment. Going for his third base and continue to drone up speed, finishing soon. He's actually going for the +1 upgrade on those Lings as well, and that Adept Shade might have seen it. I think he sees the Eva. I can never remember how much range that Shade actually has now. But so he gets some good information there and heads back home, keeping a Stalker on the edge of that main too, so that he can poke away that Overlord size, pop back in.
Yeah, I mean the Robo might be a given with how quickly it has to be placed down, and was on the front line, but still can hide with swallowing that up. There's gonna be a Twilight Council. Gateways. Actually going right into charge. And only 3 gateways? I was thinking 3 more, and then we might
Yeah,
have, like,
I was waiting for that
Archon
as well. I was
drop.
like,
Okay,
is it
it's gonna be
count?
actually a lot more, and it's not gonna be an
Okay.
Archon drop. It's gonna be straight up in the charge all
Yeah.
in.
This is cool. Like, Blysk has kind of returned to some of his more 2-basey type of play, which I really like watching from him because it's quite strong, and he certainly had a period of being that 3-base Protoss every single game, and a lot of people took advantage of that with, like, those sort of deadly times where you got a million units at the 3rd base and the Protoss just can't quite hold. But in this case, he's going to be very, very aggressive. The Warp Prism out here already. And we see Meomaika starting to prepare. He's got a spine up. He's starting to produce some roaches and some extra lings, which, again, will have that +1 upgrade.
And, I mean, that's nice to have a +1 upgrade, but you can't rely purely on those lings. We're talking about charge loss here. A couple different ways for Meomaika to see that this is on the way. Like, he could get in and see the gateways. If the Overlord dived in, Sokka wouldn't be able to stop it. Maybe if he could see the gases with another Overlord, but he also could have seen the Warp Prism warping in, but unfortunately he didn't see it. He, like, ran past it, and it was kind of close, but he's gonna be surprised now.
Yeah, it looks like he's kind of trying to figure out where it's happening. Now, this is not quite enough Zealots to do anything here. The Lings are actually going to come in and pick these off as the roaches move forward. And,
Well,
start of this attack for Blysk has been thwarted.
yeah, it has. Meomaika, again, not going that high on the drone count, either because he knew something was happening. I think his Overlord did eventually see the Warp Prism, but he had already been producing roaches even before that. But he has deflected this charge on attack very well, and now Blysk is kind of like panicking, rightfully so, trying to get shield batteries and immortals up.
Yeah, I mean, getting echoes of the previous game where he's relying really hard on those immortals to do the damage here. Zealot's being warped in at the front for that funnel of lings, but they do actually close the gap. Now, those shield batteries are a big deal here, helping a lot. Nice micro back there by that immortal to not get hit by the bile. And he may be able to hold here, but that gateway has fallen pretty fast to those upgraded lings. There is a force field available, and he's going to use that to just buy himself a little bit more time at the front here.
Yeah, a little bit more time. I mean, the charge slots are slicing through the lings despite the +1 melee, but what about those roaches that are actually backing this up? Actually, not that many. It is mostly about those lings. The charge numbers have been decreased a little bit here, but here comes that Warp Prism micro. Oh, actually using it to warp it was a bit dangerous, but the corrosive pilots weren't looking for it, and they actually missed the immortals, so that ended up being a fine hold from Blysk.
Yeah, that went really, really well, and you can see he's getting pretty confident there. I mean, he's marching right out to the ramp and sending him home, so he's going to straight away load up that Warp Prism and see if he can't get something done on the other side of the map. And keep Meomaika on his toes, because he knows he hasn't really droned very hard, so if he can sort of keep him from doing too much in the way of economy, keep an eye on what he's doing. Is there going to be a follow-up attack? What's the deal going to be here then? He'll be sitting pretty. These lings coming in again, though. Thank goodness there's some Celtics there to beat him back.
Yeah, Meomaika realizing that would not have been quite worth it. All the Zealots charging on them. Does maybe cause that bit of a panic recall, though, because otherwise that Warp Prism was fine. And that is unfortunate, not just because it could lead to more droning for Meomaika, which actually doesn't really, he's not really droning, but more so because it has no chance now to see that there is a Spire on the way in the main. Not that the Warp Prism would usually see that, but there's always that chance. And now you'd have to rely on a Sentry Hallucination, which hopefully Blysk is thinking of, but he has the energy and he's not doing it, so that could be brutal. Oh no, here comes Warp Prism. Here it comes. And it's still a little shy of seeing Inspired.
Get in just a little further,
Okay,
buddy. Yeah, finally. Now, hopefully he was looking. Because this is kind of the flow of the game that we saw in game 1 when you're starting to get inspired that the attack was coming, so we didn't really get to see that come to fruition. But hell yeah, Sky units are going to be good here, because all he has so far does not really shoot up. I don't count sentries. But of course, he was paying attention. 2 Stargates dropped immediately. Gotta say though, Meomaika's doing a good job at keeping Blysk from actually expanding here.
Yeah, and this is really awkward for the Protoss, who, if he can't establish that third in like, due time, so I want to say in the next, like, 1 or 2 minutes, then it is one of those situations where Meomaika probably just spirals a little bit out of control. Again, I say that assuming that he would take the opportunity to pin the Protoss army back and drone a little bit, but so much is actually still going into the army. It's and actually Blysk not going for a third anymore, just going for the attack might be the right call. But that's where the decision making still is going to be really impactful. Like, do I stay at home or don't I? But he only sees 4 mutas, so 2 Phoenix is like 3 Phoenix, whatever, is actually going to be fine. And he probably should try and attack. Just make sure he knows where the army is, and that's so far what's lacking. Because Meomaika sets up a big concave.
Yeah, it looks like a really big army, but it is actually mostly Lings, and those charge lots, as long as he can keep them on the front lines, he can slice and dice those pretty good, but he's got a good concave set up here. He's trying to come from multiple angles. Force fields go down on the lower side. Zealots absorbing a lot of the hits on the right, but now there's no units left to buffer for these juicier gas units, and he's losing everything here in the middle of the map, trying to micro with these Immortals. He is getting a lot out of them, but is it enough? Are these Phoenixes able to help out? Doesn't look like he could quite do it.
No, not quite. It's one of those situations where I wonder if there were more force fields, or simply he was not in such a surroundable position. Could that have worked? But getting completely surrounded, especially by +1 melee Lings, that results in the loss of basically his entire army. And while Phoenix will not be combated here, so they can lift as much as they want, as much as energy allows, they are limited by energy. And Lings are going to be really hard to pick up one by one.
Yeah. Well, he's working on the roaches so far, and the Sim City again for Blysk is really, that's really what's keeping him alive, because he can slot the Zealots in there and dice those Lings as they come through. But unfortunately, that gateway goes down. He loses a bit of his choke there, and he might just clean this up. Like, yeah, okay, he will actually get rid of everything, and Meomaika goes home. So the game will go a little bit longer, but Paul Blysk hasn't really been able to get anything done over at Meomaika's base this game so far, and now the guy's on 4 bases. Still not a lot of drones though.
Yeah, just running out of minerals in his mana natural, I guess, so we still see some drones at like all the bases, but really not on the highest count. Going into Corruptors here, I wonder if that's, well, I don't know, like, because it's always a risk, right, when you go into Hydras, because they could be picked up. That's where you get that really decent amount. But okay, I guess the Corruptors will do their job, and he will just supplement with roaches. He has the Hydras down, which is why I'm like him and Han. But the Corruptors seem like they'll be fine. And then when they bring him along for the main attack, Meomaika might still have a chance to deny this 3rd base. But after that defense, Meomaika's actually not in that great of a position.
No, not really. It's like a characteristic of Meomaika's playstyle, this low drone sort of deal, so that, like, when he loses a fight in the middle of the map, it's not like the Zerg has 70 drones behind it and he's really screwed. He's actually kind of alright. He's in need of a new base for sure, but he's continuing to upgrade his tech. He's got Archons in the mix now. The Phoenixes are finding stuff to pick off wherever possible, and he's definitely moving into a more solid army. And Meomaika's army, as it stands at the moment, isn't that great. It's kind of a bit of everything. A few Corruptors, Lings, Roaches, Hydras, but it's not scary.
No, it's not. And, Hydra's being, like, singular, even though he's getting the upgrade.
Oh, true. Just the one.
Yeah, I would have rather have seen... The order of operations, right, for Zerg players is very much so, like, they want to drone a lot first and get a huge army later, but because Meomaika's been, like, half and half in it for so long, the army is actually not that scary in supply for what Blysk has. Now, he does actually have many Immortals, and I kind of just assumed that he had at least 1 or 2, but he doesn't, so this might still be an okay situation for the army supply lead with at least 1 upgrade, but we'll see. Phoenix also could help out, but also could just die without helping out enough, and that actually seems to be the case here.
Yeah,
so it can actually just tap out.
Wow, GG, okay. So Meomaika will come out on top with the 2-1. Some nice bile hits at the end there, really sealing the deal for Blysk army. Some interesting games. Definitely not the most standard games we've seen in a while. Oh my god, look at that victory screen. That's new. That looks good. I like that. Cool. So Meomaika, the first victor for the night, and he'll move on and await his winners match in the groups.
Yeah. I do wonder if Blysk had played like a more passive game, if he would have been alright. It must be so weird to play against Meomaika,
Yeah.
because he doesn't do that Zerg thing where he's like, now's the opportunity to drone. So you always are like, if there's another Zerg, you're thinking, oh my god, they're 4 bases, 70 drones, they're gonna overpower me no matter what. But when you actually have like at times the probe lead, despite only just now getting your 3rd base, like I wonder if a macro game was actually so out of the question that he had to just all in right there.
Yeah. I don't know. It's sort of hard to predict like what you should reflect on that and be like, what should I have done against a player like this? And honestly, I'm not sure how many times I've seen Blysk run into Meomaika. He's a sort of unique creature to come up against, because of those points that you're making. Like, he just kind of, he doesn't do what you expect him to do against another Zerg. I think he would have maybe won that series, because that's not the way that Blysk has played for a little while as well, so you don't know what to expect out of him. Do I expect 2 bases? Do I expect a longer macro game? Most of the other Protosses in this region either have an affinity for DTs or play like a really strong macro style like Probe, so I think Blysk can be a bit of an unknown quantity, but anyway, hopefully we'll see a bit more of him later in the night. But for now, guys, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. And when we come back, we'll have our second match lined up for the night, which is going to be Seether versus Peppy. So don't go away. We'll be back soon.
Dad, the other kids on chat say my voice is cracking.
Well, it just means you're growing up.